Alright folks, so just ordered these Pallet Forks and they got here the other day. Going to open these up and check them out. Alright, so it looks like we got three main pieces. There's a fork. There's a fork. And then we got this spreader here to put these at the same distance. Keeps the forks from spreading out or coming in when they're on the tractor. So let's see how this fits on there. Well, that was a pretty good guess at how wide that was. Alright, pretty easy to fit on there once you get this bolt loosened enough. And then I've got another bolt here that I can adjust the spacing on this with. Alright, so I'm thinking that the best way to attach this piece is to put these bolts upside down, so that way when I pick up a pallet they're not sticking up. Alright, so I got these assembled. I just so happen to have some 2x4s that I need to stick on a pallet and get out of the back of my truck, so I'm going to go do that with these and put them to the test. Now I have a groove here on this pallet, the groove there, and obviously those will fit over here just fine. I also want to make sure that if I want to pick the pallet up this way, it will fit over these forks. So I'm going to check that out first. And that will fit until it gets to that bar. Alright, so you can see that bar gets in the way of my pallet sitting actually on the fork. So like I said, this bar, I have used these before, and these pallet forks, clamp on pallet forks, and they tend to wobble. They'll go in and out quite a bit if you're not careful, depending on what you're doing with it. So I can certainly see instances where if I'm just putting stuff directly on the pallet forks, I would want that bar. But for actually working with a pallet, that bar needs to come off. It's just in the way. Alright, time to load our 2x4s. Alright, so obviously if I was stacking boards higher, I would need something here to keep the boards from sliding off the back. And it's got this area here. It's not big enough to fit a 2x4 in. You can fit a 2x2 in there, or some other size stake to put in there. But some of these, they're wide, they're big enough to put a 2x4 in. This one here is not, but it will go in this way, but it's the depth is okay, but the width is not wide enough for a 2x4. Alright, time to go put these where they belong. Alright, so as you can see, when I backed up, I lost a fork. And I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to loosen this up a little bit. Alright, so apparently when I tighten this up, I actually deformed the metal here. And you see I raised it up when I tightened it, because this metal here is not thick enough. So now when I go to try to loosen it, it's not real good here, because the tension on the threads of this this insert and the threads of this bolt are not in line with each other anymore. So anyway, we're gonna see if I can't muscle through getting this loosened, even with this being deformed. Alright, so let me show you why I lost this fork. See this ridge right here? This is a ridge, and it's meant to catch on the bottom lip right here of my bucket. So there's a ridge here on the bottom of my bucket, and that lip is meant to catch there and keep it from going forward. The problem is that ridge is so far back that if I'm backing up and this slides any, which is going to, by the time this hits the ridge, my clamp is already off, right? So I'm going to mount the camera here and try to get a better action shot of how that's working. So you see, if this slides, by the time that catches, my bolt here that's connecting it is already gone, and then this just falls off. That no longer catches, and at that point this pallet fork is loose. So I have a different pair of these, and that ridge is up here to where it's catching right here, and it catches that lip and it can't fall off. But this one has the problem of this lip is so far back. Again, by the time it catches there, you've already lost your fork.